Hey guys, welcome to the Mental Cocktail. Today in Texas, it is a freezing 65 degrees. So we are going to make a soup. Not just any soup, we're gonna be making a sweet potato quinoa soup. Now before you start getting a little bit weirded out by quinoa, however people call it, it's very inexpensive if you can get it on sale, and it is very high in protein. So I would suggest that you stick around. It is an extremely inexpensive soup because it is a vegetarian dish. So come join us. Here's the ingredient list that we're going to need. Now this is optional what we want to add. If you want to go very plain and you're very much on a budget, all you need are sweet potatoes, quinoa, and then some chicken broth. Obviously if you're vegetarian, substitute for vegetable broth. But I love to add jalapeños. It really gives it this nice peppery flavor and tends to not be too spicy. And then of course, onion powder and garlic powder are a must. If you want to make it fancier, you can actually add fresh garlic and fresh onions, but we're trying to keep things simple and cheap for y'all. Let's talk about quinoa for a minute. I just Googled it and found out that even though quinoa is known or commonly referred to as a grain, it actually is a seed. And it does have 8 grams of protein. This meal is really good. You got the carbs and you have your protein, so it makes a nice complex meal. First we need to peel the sweet patata. There you can usually find them for about 89 cents a pound. I tend to eat them year-round, even though here in the US they're known as a more seasonal vegetable. But they're really yummy. Let's give these puppies a quick rinse, shall we? There we go. Now it's time to chop it up. So what we want to do, I know I'm so graceful. What we want to do is chop it into some, oh my gosh, fairly large, I'm gonna use my abs on that one. Some fairly large chunks, about that size. About this size. Let's keep chopping. Let's add some water into the pot, and then we're gonna add the chicken broth. My mind went blank. Chicken broth. Okay, let's stick it on medium-high heat. Let's add the sweet potatoes. Now let's add a little bit of onion powder, just a sploosh, and some garlic powder. And then we're going to add our broth. You can also add the bouillons. I just have this, so we're gonna use this. There we go. Now let's cut up some jalapeños. I'll be using 2 jalapeños. Obviously, if you want it less spicy, you can just use 1. Also, a big source of spice are the seeds in these veins. Do you see these like white parts? That also holds a lot of spice. So I like spicier food, my family does, so I'm gonna be keeping it in. Time to add the jalapeños in. We're gonna be cooking the sweet potato for about 10 minutes. because the quinoa then is going to be cooking for another 12 on top of that. Depending on where you're at. Here we're at lower altitude, so I think 10 minutes will do, but if you're at higher altitude, you might need to add another extra 5 or 10 minutes. We've been cooking the sweet potatoes for about 10 minutes. We did cover it, and yeah, it's coming along. Now it's time to add the quinoa. This is about a cup of quinoa, and it does triple in size, keep in mind. So this 1 cup is going to expand to 3 cups of cooked, and it's very thirsty. It sucks up a lot of water, which is why I have so much water in this soup container. So let's add the quinoa. And quinoa usually takes about 12 minutes at this low altitude, maybe closer 18 to 20 at higher altitude. So let's give it a stir. And I still have it at medium-high heat. I'm probably gonna lower it to medium actually. And then we'll cook it for about 12 minutes and come back and check on it. But while it's simmering, why don't we have our mental health minute? Hi. It's been a couple of days since I filmed. We tried to, but the baby woke up from a nap and there were flies and squirrels. It was a whole thing. Action! Anyways. Is that? There's a squirrel. So anyways, I thought we'd start off with our mental health minute with 3 deep breaths. Let's go. 1. 2. And 3. Now I do little snippets on Instagram if you're interested. We start off with some deep breaths and I give some advice or a little encouragement, whatever's going on. For this mental health minute, I wanted to talk about belonging and what that means. As humans, I believe that we were made to belong somewhere. And our life was spent searching emotionally, physically, and spiritually where that is that we belong. And I just wanted to encourage you that it's okay to feel like you want to belong somewhere. Not where you're sacrificing yourself to fit in, but the opposite, where you are fully accepted for who you are. I know that for me, I didn't find my people, if you will, until I was almost 30. And so I just wanted to encourage you to seek it out. Go find the people that accept you for who you are. Go find what drives you emotionally, and also go find what drives you spiritually. It's out there. So I just wanted to encourage you. A reminder for me as well to do it, to get out there and really be mindful about where I belong. So I hope that's helpful. And even though it's a couple days since I filmed this, let's return to the end of our soup and see how it's going. Time to dish this soup up. Look at that. Yummy. There you see all the quinoa. There we have it, folks. Tasty, nutritious, and extremely affordable. Now let's give it a bite. We know there's just one last thing left to do. Let's check it out. Some jalapeño and some quinoa. Hopefully I don't burn my mouth. Awkward eye contact. Maintain gaze. Here we go. Hot. Yummy. You can put this in a bag and freeze it for later if you want. I'll see you next time. We need to give them a
What?
I don't know.
And
Now we gotta give these puppies a quick rinse off.
action.
I don't know what's happening.
Action.
Today I want to talk about belonging. I have to go to the bathroom.
Action.
Let's make this one count.